Improving accountability in education. Well, it's over, people. It's over. The election's over, which means our YouTube ads can stop bugging us every 5 seconds. But we have to say congratulations to the Progressive Labour Party for, well, winning the election. Now, what we would challenge everybody to do right now, it's over. Let that be the end of it. Rather than, if you were an OBA supporter, rather than moping around saying, oh, we shouldn't have won the country. No. What you need to do now, what your role is now, hold this new government accountable for their actions. Make sure that they are the best PLP government that they can be. Because, frankly, governments need support from the people. And the people chose the PLP. So whether you like it or not, they're in power. So, we need to do what we can do as our civic duty to make sure that they are allowed to do the job that they want to get done. And this first 100 days, we're going to be holding you out to that. Nah.
Well,
experiment?
It's definitely an interesting day for democracy. I feel like there was the most votes cast in a long
Yeah,
time.
this was a very, very high voter turnout.
Yeah.
I actually, I went to, I didn't hit all 36, but I believe it was 20 constituencies that I went to, not yesterday, I'm saying yesterday, on Tuesday. And, you know, I saw so much young voters out there. And I was really happy to see that. Because clearly I've been listening. I was really happy to see so many young boys, even a lot of them recognized me and came up to me like, hey, you know, you really encouraged me to like register to vote and do everything. And I'm like, great, this is great. Because like we said, it doesn't matter who you vote for because the only right vote is your vote. Yeah. Now, one thing that I was also very happy about, I know you was working up at your job, sir.
Yes.
So I was, you know, gallivanting around on the post. But one thing I was really, really happy to see was I was so happy to see so many PLP and MPs, PLP candidates and OBA candidates being very cordial and very friendly with each other. Some of them you went to, not gonna lie, some of them you went to on both sides, it was like side eyes and snickers and I ain't going nowhere near you and your people. It was from both sides, and I was very upset at that. I even saw some one-sided, I saw some OBA candidates a little stuffy towards PLP that were trying to be friendly, and I saw some PLP candidates very stuffy towards OBA that were being a little, either way. But some standouts were, what's Tian's last name? Tanae Fur. Yeah. I'm going to hold up to that because I was like, you look very nice today, young lady. But either way, I mean, let me keep talking over that. Her and Suzanne Holzhauser, they were hugging each other. They were nice to each other. They were going over. They were shaking hands. They were being nice. They were talking. They were laughing with each other. I'm like, yes, this is what we need. Craig Cannoner and George Scott? George Scott? Nah, everybody knows. By this time, if you don't know, Craig Cannoner is my father. You ain't been paying attention. But my grandma was sitting there making George Scott food. George Scott had his family there. They was giving my family drinks. I was sitting there looking at this, just sitting there laughing, having a good time. I'm like, yes, that's what we need. And not to say that for my family, but that amount of maturity, that amount of like, look, we're on opposite sides, but we can be friends with each other. When I went to the different constituencies, a lot of the POP people came up to me like, look, Wayne Keynes came up to me, shook my hand, hugged me up. He's like, what's good, my brother? I was like, yes, points to you. Anthony Santucci came up to me, shook my hand, said, how you doing, my brother? That points to you. And I was happy that the actual candidates were being, what's the word I'm looking for? Positive?
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the victory aside, no matter who won, I feel like this election did show something that has to be spoken on, and it is the fact that the
people are nasty.
racial party lines that exist in our country is undeniable. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that race was the main factor of why.
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't the main factor because a lot of people were just fed up and felt disenfranchised.
We could make a list of the people.
But it is definitely an attributable factor.
I counted at least 19.
It is. It's an attributable factor, and I believe that is reinforced by the Westminster system. Now, I think, personally,
they need
that system must come down.
We've been saying this for months.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not against the candidates themselves, but it's just what it reinforces. It reinforces party line. And the thing is, the reason our country has turned in the mud so long is because the black population wields the political power with the voter base and the voter numbers. But the whites wield the economic power. And the thing is, whenever you have an OBA government in, the OBA government is beholden to its constituents, which means that it will be disenfranchised from the average Joe. So when things like America's Cup come along, the average people will not support it. Therefore, it would only be half successful.
That's one thing I've always said about both parties. I've always felt OBA is good for the economy, but PLP is good for the small guys.
Yeah, but the PLP has the backing of the small guys.
Exactly, but it's two big pieces of the puzzle that just need to be...
Yeah, but they don't have the backing of the employers and the people who withhold the economic power, which means that whenever they try to do initiatives, they too will encounter issues.
Just get rid of their Westminster system.
Yeah, and no matter what happens, based on that two-party system, the constituents, yes, they were cordial, and yes, people were hugging and stuff, but that two-party system will continue to reinforce the divide in this country. Well,
I can't speak too much for the supporters. When I talk about the cordialness and the friendliness, I was mostly speaking of the candidates.
But that's what I'm saying.
I was very pleased with that. The people, on the other hand, the people, I'm very disappointed with the people. I'm very disappointed with the people because I saw a lot of it on both sides. I saw a lot of angry PLP supporters and a lot of angry OBA supporters. And I think the two examples of vandalism from both sides of the spectrum perfectly explained that. Because a gentleman, I believe they caught him, was spray painted PLP all over Dunkley's Dairy. Now I live up the hill from Dunkley's Dairy, so when I was riding down, the first thing I saw was all this PLP over the wall. And I'm just like, why would you do that? And then
you bust up Wayne
Kane's.
And the thing is, right, this racial divide is being perpetuated by these actions, right? Because obviously it's looking tit for tat, and for all we know, it could have been
the same person.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who it was. It matters how it looks. But it doesn't matter who it was. So you can catch it but the thing is, like, you defamed someone's business and you attack somebody's home. Now I'm knowing the Kane's brothers.
Yeah.
That's what it's called. The Kane's brothers have known my family very intimately before I was alive. I had a conversation with Wayne Kane's brother the other day, and he didn't realize who he was talking to, but when he found out, he was like, I remember you when you were born. Mm-hmm. So I'm very cool with that family. I've worked with Wayne Kane's. One of the nicest guys I know. So to hear that somebody did that to his family, his house, I was very upset about that. I was very upset about what they did to Dunkley. I was very upset about what they did. It just says, like, we need to stop this toxicity. It needs to stop. We can disagree with each other. Actually, like I said earlier, the candidates perfectly, like, points to candidates on both sides, because both sides very much so prove that you can disagree or be on the other side while still being cordial towards each other.
I think that the PLP's main goal, on top of picking up where the OBA left off with the budget, and to make sure that the people are reconnected with the government, is to make sure the people are reconnected with each other. And that means that initiatives need to be made to reach over the aisle, and also initiatives need to be made to make sure that your supporters are also reaching over the aisle. Because at the end of the day, a government can't do it by itself. Bermuda has this mentality that the government's supposed to create jobs, it's supposed to do all of this for you.
They want the government to do anything. They want the government to fix crimes. They want the government to do this. They want the government to pay for their groceries. They want the government to wash their clothes. They want the government to scrub the floors. That's not how it works. We need to hold, like we've been saying since day one on this show, we need to hold the government accountable for what they have done and can do, and not for what they can't do. They can't do everything. But
yeah, and anyone who's rooting for the PLP to fail because the OBA lost,
you're wrong.
Throw that out the window.
No one should be rooting for a party to fail, especially if that party is in power. The best thing we can do is support them as best as we can. Whether you voted for them or not, if you care about your country, you need to support the government that is in power. That's just how it works.
So that means we need
unless you want to be an asshat, and if you're an asshat, leave.
That means you need to leave all that race baiting behind. So all of that Kool-Aid, drink a mess, and all of that people want to take out of context and use it and run with it. And by people, we all know who people take it and run out of context with it to make it into a racial issue.
Well, not people, person.
Yeah,
let's single that out. So we don't want to come up with the conglomerative, just an individual.
They just need to just dead it, because at this point now it's all about working together. And I feel like yes, the PLP's victory was for its constituents, but now it's time for us as a country to start to heal. And it's been happening long before either one was in power, and it's time for us to sit down and address this race issue, not use it as a running platform. I
do believe that with the PLP in power right now, and with the climate the way that it is, I do think that as long as we can make sure that the people put their support and because what was it V for Vendetta keep saying? Well, people shouldn't be afraid of the government should be afraid of the people. Not saying that they should be afraid of them, but the people hold up the government. What we need to do is we all need to come together and we need to hold this government up, because they're the ones making policies for us. If we can't support them,
how can they support us?
Moving on from that, I do believe we do need to thank the One Bermuda Alliance for their service. I do believe that a lot of things got done.
Yep.
So, thanks.
Appreciate that. And we
really
need
do
to pledge our support to the Progressive Labour Party as well, because they are now the people at the helm of the ship.
And what we would very much very much hold the PLP to do was take the torch that the OB had, keep running with it. Don't put it in water, then try to lighten it while it's wet. Take what they've done, keep going with it. They've laid a foundation, just keep building it up. Now the golden question is, who's going to be opposition leader right now? Because as the Honorable Mr. Michael Dunkley has stepped down,
I'm voting for Patricia Gordon Pamplin.
I see it being between three people. I see it being between Patricia, because Patricia is qualified. She's got the historical family name. She's been in politics for a while. She's a black woman.
That's right.
I do believe that it's between her, Craig Cannoner, and Jeff Barron.
Well, Jeff Barron is sandwiched between their brackets.
Well, it's true, but I do feel that Jeff Barron is a legitimately good politician. I do feel like I think he's done very well. I think he's done very well as our Minister of National Security. I think as party leader, because party leader doesn't necessarily have to be premier. I think that those are the three logical choices.
I mean, I don't know any party leader that isn't premier.
Well, some party leaders haven't been premier.
I think in this day and age.
Mark Bean?
Well, yeah, but I mean, that was because he was on the
John Barrett.
Well, look where they are now.
Regardless,
look where they are now.
Regardless. No, I think that's pretty much it. But once again, congratulations to the PLP. Hopefully now your laws in power, you'll come talk to us. We'd sure like that.
That's right.
Actually, they ain't got an excuse to not talk to us anymore. Come talk to us, please. Well, when we start season 2, come talk to us. Because we taking a break, We're trying to have some fun stuff. It's cool. We're going to have lots of stuff rolled out starting next week. Mm-hmm. Next week, we're going to have so many stuff rolled out. No, this is what I'm going to end with. Y'all have till Remembrance Day. 100 days from now. 1990 days from now. This is the right page, right? Yeah, first 100 days. Y'all have 99 days. 99 days. Is it 99 days? Oh, when does 100 days start? I don't know. I'm not good at math.
We just wait for the cabinet to be formed in there.
Cabinet form? Actually, yeah. I can't wait to see the new cabinet.
I think that's probably today.
I think so. I think the latest. Well, today by the time they'll be seeing it. Yeah. Either way, we all got 100 days. And believe me, we will be watching closely. I think that's it.
That's right. It's that type of news. I'm Dutch Pyramid.
I'm Bruce Robinson, and we will see you lot in August. Well, no, we'll see you here in August, but we'll see you before that on our other stuff next week. But I'm saying we'll see you in August because we're taking a break from politics because, frankly, I think everybody's tired of hearing it. And I know you're tired of going on YouTube and watching a bunch of political ads. So the last thing you want to hear from us is more political stuff. So we're going to be doing a lot more fun stuff. So it's going to be way fun. It's going to be great. It's going to be huge. It's going to be awesome. Yeah, check it later.